Tune into Raising Wisdom, where we embark on a journey of enlightenment and introspection. Get ready to elevate your understanding, embrace life's challenges, and unlock the true potential of your being. In a world where gossip rules, we are grateful that you came back to shine the gems on your crown, here on Raising Wisdom, where wisdom is free. I'm your girl, Nico Sakari, the Mad Alchemist. Catch us live Wednesdays at 8, and just for some extra love, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Raising Wisdom, where wisdom is free. It is here we embark on a journey of enlightenment and introspection. Together we will navigate the complexities of life, seeking the elusive wisdom that enriches our minds and souls. So get ready to elevate your understanding, embrace life's challenges, and unlock the true potential of your being. High vibrations, I'm your girl, Nico, the Mad Alchemist. I hope all is well. What's up, you guys? Listen, my apologies for the video coming out a little late. Okay, life be lifing, for sure. My mom, she had surgery on her foot, bless her heart. So, I had to take care of my mommy. She's doing well now, so that's amazing. And yeah, life just be lifing, I think that doesn't necessarily need to be explained. But my duty, he's doing good. We got over that cold and he's teething, so my poor baby, his immune system is down a little bit. So I'm a mommy first. I love you guys, but you come after that. So thank you so much for sticking it out and being patient with me. I'm really excited about this topic. Who the F did I marry? This is going to be very interesting, but I promise you, because this is something different from what we normally do, this is not just going to be gossip and tea, y'all. We're actually going to get some lessons and blessings out of this, okay? So let's talk about the moon phase. Let's get the moon phase out the way. Y'all felt that energy, that full moon energy? That baby was big orange. Yeah, so it definitely is a full moon. I'm over here shuffling my cards like they my tarot cards or something. They up there on my altar, y'all, but these my moon cards. I don't really start looking at them until I'm about to do the show, but I should definitely look at them more often because they have like different things on here. For instance, like a healing spell, right? Goddess Moon, tend to me in this time of ill. May your light mend my heart and help my mind be still. Bring me peace that I may use my energy to heal. Goddess Moon, shine on me that better I may feel. So this is like feeling the full weight of Moon's energy. Breathe deeply to fill your body from head to toe with her warmth. Reflect on what needs to be healed and create a picture in your mind of what that looks like. This is like, I love it. But anywho, yes, big full moon energy. Let me see. So it's called a snow moon. So let me tell you, the snow moon is typically the full moon of February, okay? It carries a profound spiritual significance and arrives in the coldest, often most challenging part of the year. So it symbolizes purity and clarity and the illumination of paths that were previously hidden by shadows of our lives. Okay, so the moon phase invites introspection and the cleansing of the mental and emotional spaces, making it an ideal time for setting intentions and manifesting desires. So the serene energy of this snow moon encourages us to reflect on our goals and the steps we need to take to achieve them, reminding us that even in the depths of winter, the promise of spring and the potential for new growth and beginnings are on the horizon. That's really beautiful. So make sure that you're harnessing this energy. You can use these herbs to enhance the energy of the snow moon to support your intentions and your manifestations. So we have bay leaves, okay? We know that they symbolize wisdom and protection. So writing your wishes and your intentions on the bay leaves and burning it afterwards is a must do because it can help manifest your desires into reality, okay? And it's believed that the smoke carries your intentions into the universe, which is really sweet. So lavender, the herb that brings us tranquility and peace and spiritual healing. Of course, lavender can aid in calming the mind and enhancing clarity, allowing for a deeper connection with your inner self, right? Okay. So we also have sage. And sage, of course, is known for its cleansing and purifying properties. Sage is perfect for clearing the negative energy from your space. All right. And then we have chamomile. Chamomile is actually one of my favorites. I love chamomile. Chamomile tea can put a girl right to sleep, okay? But it's actually known for its properties of purification and protection. So chamomile can also attract abundance as well. So drinking chamomile tea or scattering the flowers around in your spiritual bath will definitely enhance and soothe you in that energy and enhance your focus on your intentions, okay? We also have mugwort. We talked about mugwort before in a previous episode. It's often used for its ability to stimulate dreams and enhance psychic vision. Mugwort can assist in connecting with your intentions and the spiritual guidance necessary for manifesting your goals. Okay, so we love mugwort. So with that being that, let's go ahead and get into it. Did y'all see who the F did I marry? I wanted to talk about this because if you have not went to go see the saga, then the 50-part TikTok series of this woman, Risa Tisa, telling her story about how she pretty much fell for a habitual liar. She fell for a man with serious mental issues. I told you guys that I wrote a book called Reset, Reclaiming Your Power After Narcissistic Abuse. And I wrote that book because I was doing my healing. I had to have some healing, serious healing, after being a victim of narcissistic abuse. And in that workbook, it goes through a few things. So we're going to kind of go through that. And we're going to talk about these red flags. Because my girl missed all the red flags. I mean, she didn't really miss them. She just saw past them. But let me break it down on what happened in the story if you haven't seen it. So pretty much, Risa Tisa fell in love with this guy that she met before the pandemic, like right before the pandemic, right? She met him on a dating app, and she met him. He looked like the picture. She was excited about that. They spent a lot of time together. She saw that he was intentional, and she didn't want to quarantine by herself, so they were deciding whether or not they was going to quarantine at his house or her house. So of course it was her house, and he's paying the bills. Well, he's paying the household bills, stuff like that. She was feeling relieved because usually she's used to doing things by herself. And we know as women how that can feel, right? When you have somebody with you and they are contributing and taking the weight off you so you can be in your soft girl era. Boom. Things get crazy because he's talking about buying a house and all of this stuff because she got pregnant, right? She didn't want to be pregnant without being married, so she definitely wanted to get married. Cool. The proposal was BS. But anyway, let's get back to this house, okay? This house was an imaginary house that they just was not getting to. He kept bringing out all the receipts and everything that he had the credit, he had the funding to be able to buy this house. $700 worth from Chase and all of this stuff. Child, it's crazy. Anyway, it was not true. None of it was true. Okay, this man was over here having conversations with his brother every rising for like 35 minutes at a time. Come to find out, he was talking to somebody imaginary. Who the F did this woman marry? A demon. She calls him Legion, and I understand why she does, because the amounts of things that was going on. So anyway, she lost the baby. She had a miscarriage. Lost the baby. I don't know how you guys feel about, speaking on things like that, but I can relate. When I was with my narcissist, right? The narcissist that I was with, I was pregnant. We got married. I got pregnant. And things were so crazy and so confusing. I was going through that miscarriage alone. So on Mother's Day of 2020, yes. So on Mother's Day 2020, May 11th, is when I had that miscarriage, and it was so painful. I call him. He has me blocked because he would do stuff like that. He would go out and do whatever he was doing, and he would block me, right? Because I'm like, where are you at? What's going on? Anyway, when I had the miscarriage, and it was like really, really sad, y'all, for real. I ended up losing one of my fallopian tubes behind some malpractice with the hospital, but I'm dealing with that. Anyway, in hindsight, if I would have had a child with that man, wasn't gonna be no healing. Okay? I don't know when the healing would have been done. And I mourn that child that I lost. However, that energy, that soul was meant to be here. Because May 11th, last year, I had Levi. Isn't that very interesting? Mother's Day, we came home. So everything happens for a reason. That's what I'm trying to say. And with this lady, Risa Tisa, everything happens for a reason. And so I'm so very sorry for your loss. However, everything happens for a reason. And if she would have had a child by that man, it just would have been to no end. Because Risa Tisa is one of those individuals. She likes to play by the rules. Okay? She is a good citizen. And I don't mean no shade by that. I'm a rebel. I ain't following all them rules. Okay? But she did what she thought was right for herself. Anyway, she loses the child. And it was a mess. It just was a mess. She was ready to get married, but she kept going through this house situation. They looking at houses, all of these things. Whole time this man had no intentions and no money to buy this lady no house. None. All kind of lies just start happening. He went to try to buy this lady a car and all of this stuff. So supposedly he had an offshore account. Just a bunch of ratchetness, She could never get no answers. Things weren't necessarily adding up. However, she was holding on to certain things that he was showing her to make her think, okay, well, this has to be true because I saw the paperwork for this, or this has to be true because I saw his bank account. My heart goes out to her because although I have not, I can't really say that I didn't stay into it that long. It was a while. It wasn't as long as, she stayed in it. Because after the whole miscarriage that I had and the surgery was a pretty major surgery, and I was on my behind for a while, and that man was nowhere to be found. He was out getting drunk, doing the most, so he had to go, okay? And I just had to go through my healing process by myself. Now, I say all that to say that's how I came up with the book Reset, because I was going through a reset, and everything that I did to reset my life after that traumatic experience was definitely necessary, because I learned a lot about myself as well, and how I was able to allow someone with such terrible behavior to interfere in my world, to take my joy and my smile away, to break my spirit. So it's important to approach this topic with empathy and understanding for sure, because even though we look at it and some people might think that it's like hilarious, this was this lady's life. And unbeknownst to her, this man had plans of continuing his shenanigans. Now, I thought it was really important that she stated when she was finding out, things were unveiling and being revealed to her, and she was finding out the truth about how much of a lie this entire thing was. I thought it was interesting on like how much time she hung in there. I mean, and I think us as women, and I'm not going to count the men out either, because I think there was a study that men will actually stay in a relationship even if they're miserable. Even if they're cheating, they would rather stay than to, I mean, as far as not just a regular relationship, but a marriage, it's mostly the women that initiates divorce. Because men will hang in there. They'll stay in there. They'll do whatever is necessary. Even if they're miserable, they'll stay, which I find is very crazy. However, well, not really, because I guess men equate that to a failure, and, men don't really like to fail. And that's understandable, because as women, we don't like to fail either. However, we don't like to be in something that's just toxic and not working for us. And I think it is so very interesting how long she stayed in this situation because of her strong belief in family and in marriage. Because truth be told, she should have been gone a long time ago. She shouldn't have never married him in the first place. But she was guided and led to believe a certain thing. I totally understand her plight. Because when you're in it, and you're not seeing things that you should see because of some healing and some work that you haven't done. So you're going to be blind. You're going to be blind to certain things that may seem like a huge red flag to someone else that has been through that. If you've never experienced that type of evil, if you've never experienced that type of sickness, that type of mental sickness, then, you're going to be, another one bites the dust. You know what I'm saying? So I want to explain a few things. And I'll take me for example, because I can't speak for Risa Tisa. But what I can say is that when I was like, who the F did I marry? Because it was literally like night and day. I think I spoke on it in an episode with Shawnee Poos when we were talking about narcissism.
Oh yeah, like I was saying, that it can be abusive. And he was physically abusive. There were times when he would love bomb me. Hey baby, let's go out. We would dress alike. He would put a bunch of money in my hand. Go do this, go do that. And we would go out and he would say something crazy to me. And I'm like, don't talk to me like that. And I remember he pushed me across the floor in the club. I fell to the ground. Sure did.
The people,
everybody.
What did you do, girl?
What did you do? I left.
Oh my God.
I left. Because first I was embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. I was like shaking. I couldn't believe that just happened to me.
Girl, I can't imagine that.
Believe that just happened to me. I was shaking.
When we got married out there in St. Thomas and everything, it was like literally day and night. Everything was all on the up and up, and then nighttime fell and it was a demon released into my world. And that's not to say that there weren't red flags before, but I definitely brushed past them because I was like, oh, okay, well, things is really tight right now, or things is kind of difficult right now. It's a lot of transitions happening. He's under a lot of stress. I mean, a lot of excuses for him, right? So I want to address all these things because what we're not going to be doing moving on and moving forward is not having the tools to understand these red flags. Because although I really hate that happened to her, and I do not wish it on anybody, you know what I'm saying? Because you're taking someone's time, their energy, their hopes, their dreams. You're playing on their emotions, their heartstrings, and that's not fair. However, everybody's not good in this world, and we have to remind ourselves that everybody does not have the same intentions that you do, right? I definitely want to speak on these things. Please comment below if you have seen this this saga and you know what I'm talking about, or if you've ever experienced something that's similar to what Risa Tita went through with Who the F Did I Marry. Have you ever went through a situation where you was like, who the F did I marry? Because I'll be the first one to say I definitely did. And it changed me. I can't even lie and say it did not change me. So it's important to say that ignoring red flags in a relationship can indicate several things about a person's psychology, their emotional state, or circumstances. It's important to approach, again, like this whole situation or that person with empathy and understanding, you guys, because it's painful. It's painful to connect yourself with someone spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and sexually, and you have tethered yourself to a complete demon, a dark one. That can be life-changing, you know? So let's talk about some of the red flags for sure. And it's not going to be easy, but it's necessary, because I think that unless you have been brought up with these tools, you were taught these tools, or you learned by experience very quickly, then you're going to succumb to a crazo, okay? You're going to succumb to someone who would be able to take advantage of you. And here at Raising Wisdom, when wisdom is free, we definitely want to make sure that we encourage each other to be in our P's and Q's and protecting our energy at all costs, okay? Okay, like I said before, if you don't have my book already, it's probably because you didn't have any use for it. But if you do, you definitely had a use for it. So I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I wrote in Reset. Okay, because it's a workbook journal. Writing this was not about me. It was about helping others get through their healing process, okay, and reclaiming their power back after narcissistic abuse. And so I definitely dedicated it to the survivors of narcissistic abuse, because it's a hell of a thing. And I do believe what Risa Tisa went through is also a form of narcissistic abuse, because even though he was just a pathological liar, he got a kick out of what he was doing. Okay, he was emotionless about what he was doing. He had no empathy for this woman and what she was going through. He literally was just wanting reactions out of her. He was doing things. He was lying. She was sleeping with a complete demon. It's crazy, y'all. You got to be careful. Okay. So, the reset is for all of us that has lived the unspoken truth of internal pain, grief, and solemn. All right. So reset is for those who break away and seek a healing, another way to mend the wounds that was endured due to the experience of overcoming a loved one that was never truly capable of loving you back. This is for the great empath, the light in the dark, the one that overcame or is overcoming. My joy goes out to you. I love you and I am you. Because, again, if you have ever been through a situation like this woman, you can relate on how traumatizing it is. I think the difference is, what's interesting about it is, with her telling her story, we was all like, girl, and what happened next? Because we could all tell our stories and make it a 50 to 100 part TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that all of us were necessarily vulnerable. Me, myself, personally, I'm not trying to go back there. My way of handling my my trauma and healing through it was writing Reset. Her way of, if she's going to relive it and go through it, and in hindsight and all of those things, was the way that she did it. And I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she got away. I'm happy that the truth was revealed to her. All praises to the Most High, for sure, But I want to talk about some of these indicators, these red flags, okay? And the red flags, not with them, but with you. Okay? If you can identify with any one of these characteristics, then it's definitely time for you to take some time away for yourself. And you know that this is the thing that you need to work on. This is the place that you need to put your energy into. This is the shadow work that you need, Okay, so let's get into it. I want to go through, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'm definitely going to give you insight on some of the workups that are in my book Reset, because like I said, this encourages you to know yourself. It encourages you to find out what happened with you first. And that's because we cannot change someone else's behavior. Okay, we can only make sure that we improve the outcome for ourselves, right? So first and foremost, let's talk about some of these characteristics and indicators that you may be a target, things that you need to work on, so that something like what Risa Tisa went through doesn't happen to you, or it doesn't happen to you again. So if you're wondering why do I keep running into the same guy? Why do I keep running into the same woman? What is going on with me? Right? Let's look at some of these characteristics that may blind you from not looking over red flags. Okay? So low self-esteem. Individuals with low self-esteem may feel unworthy, okay, of a healthy, respectful relationship. And although you be like, no, yes. Because when you have low self-esteem, you're kind of open for anything because you don't feel like you can do any better or that you're worth anymore. For some reason, something may have happened in your life that has dampened your self-esteem. Maybe you have been through a situation like, who the F did I marry? And you never really properly healed from that. So that took a jab at your self-esteem and you never fully healed. So the next person that comes along will be able to, take advantage and kind of walk all over you because you don't possess the confidence that you once had that makes you who you are. You're not yourself when you're having low self-esteem. You're not yourself. You're not at your fullest potential whatsoever, and nor can you be, right? People with low self-esteem might ignore red flags because they believe they don't deserve better or fear they won't find someone else who will want them. And unfortunately, I felt like that. I am not afraid to admit to my shortcomings, okay? But I guess for me, I guess I was like, well, he does want to marry me. I think he loves me. We shared some of the same values, so I thought. I have 2 kids already, I was convinced that no one would want me the way that I was already. From past relationships, and men would tell me that pretty much I wasn't deserving of another man to love me. No other man would love me the way that they love me, or nobody would want me because I had 2 kids. So, yeah, that definitely tore at my self-esteem. So when someone else came along, because I've been proposed to a few times. But when someone came along and was like, oh, I want to marry you, and they accepted my kids and stuff like that, I felt like, okay, well, this is my chance. I don't know when this is going to come around again. I was convinced that was my story. And, child, I could never be so wrong, okay? But that's okay because I learned from it. But having low self-esteem, when you're not valuing yourself, other people can see it. When you don't have that worth, that self-worth going on with you, that relationship with you, that love with you, other people can see it. Even though you think you might be masking it, it's loud, baby, and it's something that has to be fixed, right? So the other thing that can blind you from taking red flags seriously would be fear of being alone. So the fear of loneliness can drive people to stay in unhealthy relationships. They may kind of prefer like the feeling of it being familiar to them of a problematic relationship over the uncertainty of being single. So in other words, people will stay in a toxic situation where they're with a man that cheats on them, or vice versa, or with someone who's verbally abusive or abusive physically or in other ways, because they're not sure if they're going to be able to be with someone else. They don't want to be alone. Some people just don't want to be alone. Some people do not like being alone. And I believe in my own spiritual discernment that that's because they don't like sitting with themselves. Because when you sit with yourself, you have to identify things with you, okay? You have to look at you in the mirror every day. Ain't nobody around to sit over here and feed you a bunch of lies. You actually have to come to grips with who you are, your past. You got to deal with stuff. That was never a problem for me. Fear of being by myself, that was no issue for me. I don't care. Okay, when I tell you solitude is my best friend, stillness is my best friend, I can be by myself. That's actually one of the things that I'm struggling with, because sharing space, I'm a big affectionate cuddle bear. But when I need my space, bro, I need my space. And I'm so cool with me because of all the healing that I've done. I am in love with me. So, I say that like me, my spirit guides, my ancestors, okay, we can have one big party every day. It's not that deep to me. Where are the chariots? Beam me up, okay? But anywho, a fear of being alone, and so the next thing is the lack of experience. Some people don't have the experience. Like I was saying with Risa Tisa, she seems like she kind of plays by the rules, she's like really heavily invested with law enforcement and, just compliance. She doesn't really have the experience of knowing what it's like to be with someone who can be a complete con artist, if you will. So the street sense, the wherewithal to know that these red flags can end up being blaring balls of fire in hell, okay? So people who lack relationship experience may not recognize red flags as a warning sign, like a big warning sign, because they might consider unhealthy behaviors normal or not know how a healthy relationship should look. Not paying attention to the red flags. Sometimes we make exceptions for the people that we fall in love with. We make exceptions for the people that we love because we want for them to change. We want to see better for them. You know what I mean? So their potential, we fall in love with their potential instead of looking at exactly what they're giving to us. If someone's presenting you with bad behavior, then it's imperative for you to take that into full consideration and remove yourself from there. You can't fix them. You can't be their peace. You can't be the person who, reels them in. That's something that they would have to want to do for themselves. Now, I'm not saying that just give up on someone that y'all have been working together. You're growing together. But that's the thing. It takes two people. You have to both want it. You have to both want the growth. So another thing that could blind you from viewing these huge blaring red flags would be a hope for change, like I just said. So some individuals might acknowledge the red flags but stay in a relationship hoping that their partner will change. This hope can stem from a deep love or emotional investment in the relationship, making it hard to leave even when they recognize it's unhealthy. Listen, I had a friend tell me that having a child is not going to change them. Having a baby ain't going to change it. It's probably going to make it worse. Because now you're in a situation where you're in an unhealthy relationship, and you're also stuck. You're stuck. And then, that's just unhealthy for all parties involved. You know what I'm saying? So it's better, even though you're hoping for change, you can do that from a distance. You can remove yourself. Like, listen, I want the best for you. And I'm really hoping that you get it and that you see and that you change. But I'm going to let you find that out on your own, because I can't be drugged down into this abyss that you're trying to take me in. You have to choose you first. Remember to always choose you first, okay? And yes, it's selfish, but that's fine. Who said being selfish was a bad thing? It just depends on the circumstances and when you're choosing to be selfish. Okay, so be brave enough to heal yourself when it hurts. That's by a quote that I have in the book by Bianca Sparacino. I hope I said that right. Sparacino? Yeah. The next characteristic that you may be dealing with is denial. Denial, you guys. Denial. Denial is a powerful defense mechanism, okay? It's like, nah, that wasn't me. Nah, that's not happening. No, like, you got a whole wool over your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's not happening. No, he ain't do that. Like, girl, no. I saw him, okay? Here's the screenshot. And sometimes, y'all, we will have all the evidence that we need, and we will still be in denial. We will still be telling ourselves that it's not what it looks like, okay? So denial is a powerful defense mechanism. A person might ignore red flags because acknowledging them would mean facing painful truths about their partner or their relationship's unhealthy dynamics. And who wants that? Okay, of course we all want to look like everything's all well, but the truth of the matter is, relationships can be hard. Yes, the love should feel easy. You should be at peace majority of the time. But there's also the part of the time that there's not, and there's growing pains. And in those growing pains, things happen. And you have to decide whether or not you guys are strong enough as a team to get through it. If one person is in it and the other person isn't, then you're going to have something like denial. You're telling yourself that this person loves you the way that you love them. You're telling yourself it's no way that they could be doing this and betraying me this way because they said they love me, because look at what they're doing for me. You know what I'm saying? You make these excuses because of all the other things that you're seeing. You kind of shy away from the blaring red flag that's in your face, and that's not healthy. So don't be in denial. Look your truth in the face, okay? Face it. So the next thing is dependency. A lot of us don't like to admit, but this codependency is a problem, okay? So emotional, financial, and physical dependency can make it challenging to leave a relationship, okay? Even when there are clear red flags. The person might feel trapped by their circumstances or unable to envision the life independent of their partner. So I want to read you guys something out of Reset I was just looking at, and it's called Your Happiness is Essential. This is the name of this chapter. So it says, you are not responsible for other people's happiness. I want to read you guys this very, very quickly. Some of us are very empathetic spirits that have a gift to tune into the energy around us. We find ourselves becoming addicted to our nature of wanting to fix the problems, hurt, and insecurities of another. All out of love, of course. I know. There is nothing wrong with having such a gift. In contrast, that kind of care cannot come at the expense of your own happiness being destroyed. Okay? In my marriage, I would feel guilty as if I was the person when my ex-husband wasn't happy, and I resented him for affecting my happiness. I remembered when I was full of smiles, opposed to having a puffy face from crying again. I thought on more than one occasion, why don't I make him happy? What am I doing wrong for him not to love me? I even began to question myself on whether I deserved how he was treating me. I made excuses for his bad behavior. So, taking on the responsibility to be the reason for someone else's happiness is a terrible and destructive idea. You must know that you're precious, and how you must take the authority to guard your energy, your heart, and your happiness. What is important to acknowledge is that you will not be able to solely fill the void of another who is unhappy. So, beware of the notion that all the love that your frequency provides will cure a hardened heart, unwilling to be penetrated. You cannot be someone's happiness. You can only add to it. The affirmations that I have attached to that are 3. My happiness is not up for negotiation. My happiness is not for sale. My happiness is mine alone. So, normalization of toxic behavior. Growing up in an environment, where toxic relationship behaviors were normalized, it can lead people to ignore the red flags in their relationships because it was normalized to them when they were growing up. So they may not recognize certain behaviors or problems because they've already seen them portrayed as normal. Optimism bias. This is a belief that bad things happen to other people, but not to oneself. Okay? So someone might acknowledge that certain behaviors are red flags in general, but believe their situations is different. You know what I'm saying? Or that they can handle it. So people on the outside that's looking in, they're like, yo, like, this is really toxic. Like, you're not the same person that I knew before, trying to warn you of the red flags. And you're like doing the denial thing. Or thinking like, no, that's not me. Like, you're not that girl or you're not that guy. That's what optimism bias is. You telling yourself, no, I got it, I can handle it. And that's also part of the denial, and you end up sinking into a deeper hole. You know what I'm saying? You end up digging a deeper hole for yourself. So the other thing is manipulation and gaslighting. In some cases, the partner might be manipulating situations or gaslighting. Okay? So making it difficult for the person to trust their judgment or perceive the red flags clearly. Yeah, manipulation is a very strong tactic in gaslighting. And Risa Tisa experienced a bunch of that in Who the F Did She Marry? Child. This man was manipulating everything. He was causing her to believe that he had a certain amount of money, causing her to believe that he had a strong family dynamic. He was causing her to believe that he was capable of doing things that he just wasn't. He wasn't capable of doing at all. He had this whole vision of who he was, and he intentionally made her think that he was someone that he wasn't. I mean, with all the bells and whistles, okay? Guys and goddesses, I'm going to need you guys to know when you're being manipulated. Don't let nobody gaslight you. And the last thing would be commitment and investment, okay? The more time, effort, and emotion someone has invested in a relationship, the harder it might be for them to acknowledge red flags. This is partly due to the sunk cost fallacy. And that's where individuals continue a behavior or endeavor as a result of previously invested resources. Sometimes you might be in a situation where you don't really have the funds. You've brought everything together. You guys are living together, and it's not financially possible for you to move around, So you stay and you make excuses and you're in denial and you accept the manipulation and the gaslighting. And even though you're miserable and unhappy, you choose to stay because it's just feasible. You think that it's more feasible for you. And I assure you, there is nothing more important than protecting your energy and your peace. Your peace is not up for sale. Your happiness is not up for sale. I promise you, it's not worth one more minute around a toxic situation that's depleting you from being able to thrive in its abundance. Okay? So if you find yourself in this situation, I really wish you the best. And please go to my website, naturalsakari.com, and get my book, Reset, the Workbook Journal for Reclaiming Your Power After Narcissistic Abuse. I'm just going to read to you the table of contents. Your life is precious. Your happiness is essential. You're not deserving of abuse. Releasing this thing off my back and out my chest. The purpose in it all. Mirror, mirror. Mirror, mirror is about shadow work. Okay? Gratitude. You're worthy of real love. Your voice does exist. Talk nice to me. Forgiveness. The importance of your spiritual growth. Manifest your new beginning. And reset. Okay? I implore you to get that book. I use it as a tool for my clients to reset for themselves, because it just doesn't pertain to narcissistic abuse, but any abuse. Okay? Like I said, that book is dedicated to the survivors. So, because this whole thing, shout out to Risa Tisa for coming to grips with what exactly was really going on in her world. Okay, I know that was intense. However, I want you guys to stay safe, okay? I want you to protect your energy, and I definitely want you to make sure that you are not succumbing to bad behavior, toxic behaviors, and ignoring red flags that can affect your life for the rest of your life. So if you found anything in the show that you resonate with, it is high time that you start taking care of these matters effective immediately. Okay, so you guys know that I have some affirmations for you guys. I also have a ritual for you for protecting your energy that will be in the description below. So let's go ahead and start with these affirmations. Okay, number 1, I am surrounded by a shield of white light that repels negativity and attracts peace and positive energy. I am surrounded by a shield of white light that repels negative energy and attracts peace and positive energy. Number 2, I have the power to cleanse my space and my spirit. Only love and light can dwell within me. I have the power to cleanse my space and my spirit. Only love and light can dwell within me. Number 3, I am grounded, centered, and protected. My energy is sacred and safe from external influences. I am grounded, centered, and protected. My energy is sacred and safe from external influences. Okay, so those are our 3 affirmations. Actually, you got 6 today because I gave you 3 out of reset. Okay, so again, that will be in the description box below. The ritual will be in the description box below. I pray that you guys are taking care of yourselves and protecting yourselves. Okay, as we have learned from our own experiences in relationships, Risa Tisa's experience in her relationship, child, okay, it is important that you know who you are dealing with. It is important for you to ask questions, and it's important for you to be in tune with yourself. Make sure that you are loving yourselves so that your intuition and your discernment can kick in when necessary for these types of situations, okay? I love you guys so much. Make sure that you are taking care of yourselves, okay? I will see you guys next week. My little duty, Levi, is definitely demanding my attention. My sons are out. It's just me and the munchkin, and he needs mommy time, okay? It was really... You want to say hi? No, you can't play with that. Yeah. 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 Thank you. This is my biggest fan, y'all, okay? When the show comes on, he is at attention. He is happy and just enjoying everything. I love it so much. I guess today he said, Mommy, I'm going to be a part of the show too. You want to see yourself on TV, Doozy? Yeah. In a world where gossip rules, I am so grateful that you came back to shine the gems on your crown. Here on Raising Wisdom, where wisdom is free. So have a joyful and prolific rest of your week. Love with light. Peace.